What's up, everyone? This is Michael Schoening. Thank you for jumping in and joining us today on the Unconditional Podcast, where we empower you to overcome unhealthy conditioning, to rest in your true identity, and to set and keep healthy boundaries in life. We do all of this by sharing our real and raw stories and expert secrets. I'm your host, Rabbi Michael Schoening, and my guest today is Flip Awesome Aguilera. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, Michael.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here. Let's have some fun.
I'm so glad you're here too. And we are going to have some fun. And speaking of fun, I'm going to mention our first sponsor. That doesn't sound like much fun, but we're going to do it anyways. Our first sponsor is, of course, Planet Duct, Southern Colorado's best air duct cleaning company. They even clean my home's air ducts and dryer vents. They're also certified by the National Air Duct Cleaners Association. When it comes to your family's lung health, hire the best. Check them out today at planetduct.com. My entire family, except for my wife, she's a trooper. My whole family's been sick. We've had acute bronchitis all week. I guarantee to you, the day that we are all feeling better, I'm going to have Planet Duct come out and clean my air vents because I don't know what we've been coughing up. Then we can really have some fun. But thanks again for jumping in today. I want to ask, what projects are keeping you busy lately?
What projects are keeping me busy? So I am a holistic health coach. I've been doing that for over a decade. I started that in Miami. I have clients still that I do virtually in Miami and New York. I've picked up a few clients here in Colorado Springs. And of course, I work part-time at the Garden of the Gods Country Club and Strata Medical Building, doing things to help people's wellness over there.
That's beautiful. I know that you were also you do a lot of community events, and I think that's awesome because I don't remember if it was I or someone asked you at one point. We're going to these different community events as well. I think it's where a lot of people in Colorado are going to know you at first, right? Like how are you making money on this thing? It seems like you're renting these spaces and doing these cool things with memoirs and nerd night. Like how are you making money? And I don't remember your exact answer, but it was something like, no, that's not what it's about.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like we're part of this community.
Money.
What?
I can say that we're making money off of those events. They are they're not money makers, but they are community builders.
That's right.
Now, I did start the whole Best of the West Wing Fest as well, and that
You started that?
We started that. Yeah.
You started?
We were the ones who did the Best of the West Wing.
Best of the West Wing Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, so think about if I already have people that know, like, and trust me because of Nerd Night and Memoirs, what's going to stop them from then going to the Wing Fest and being like, this guy gives so much value and other things, and I love wings, so let's support him over there.
And it's hard to hate wings unless you're vegan or something, but
no, you get some cauliflower bites with some hot sauce.
Cauliflower. I have had tofurkey before.
Yes,
and I will tell you that it's just not quite the same. It's close, but not quite the same.
Yeah,
so, so when I had met you, man, I don't even know. I feel like it was a month ago, but maybe it was 2 years ago. I really don't know. Like you had just kind of come up from Miami, and so what attracted you to Colorado Springs, number one, and after you came here, what were some of the struggles you had?
Well, what attracted us, my wife and I, to Colorado Springs is that I had a really good friend that moved out here, I think around 2007. And I would come visit her and her husband after they moved out here. And every time I came out here, I'm like, wow, this place is amazing. I really love being here. Now, we all know that it's different to visit a place than live in a place.
100%.
But, we visited literally at least once or twice a year. And we're like, it's a change of pace from Miami for sure. It's a little bit, you can breathe a little bit more. It's a little bit of a slower pace. And that's something that really attracted us. So then we decided to make a 5-year plan where once our children, because my wife has a child from her previous marriage, I have 2 children from my previous marriage. Once they were all in college or college bound or out of high school, basically, we were going to come to Colorado Springs. Little did we know that all of that would happen in 2020 And we all know what happened in 2020. So when you ask what the challenges were, well, we moved here in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
We moved here in July of 2020. And for what I do, I need people, right? For my health coaching, I need people. For my jujitsu, I need people. For Nerd Night, I need people. For Memoirs, I need people. For Wingfest, I need people.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to do anything when it was hard to connect with people.
Thank God there wasn't also a bird flu that year, or wing night. Wings would have been much harder.
Yeah, though actually on the way like up leading to the Wingfest, there was a shortage of chicken wings.
You're
And
kidding
then
me.
after the Wingfest, after it started to bounce back, I think like right now, I think there's a bird flu. So
Oh my
we sandwiched ourselves right in the middle where it wasn't as bad to do as it would be like today.
Now we've got a lot of listeners right now. We've been talking about nerd stuff. We've been talking about wings, and now he mentions a sandwich. There's like we've got a lot of weird stuff and some food going. Maybe I'm just hungry. And I love that you and your wife, you did two things though. You tested the waters, you made sure you loved it, and then you made the big move. And I have visited Miami several times. I love the area, love the southeast side. I've stayed in I love South Beach. I love Hollywood's probably my favorite. I love staying on a hotel and chilling on the balcony above a restaurant right above the boardwalk, right? And I was so confused why the sun was going down in the wrong direction because I was born and raised in Oregon, right? But I absolutely love it. And I'll tell you that, but I've only been to Miami, right? I've only been to Miami. We just got back from Tampa last month. We were literally, I think it was last month, we were in the plane flying out and we were seeing Hurricane Ian come in. And we're like, hey, pilot, a little faster. But, I had still never been to Florida during the summer. I've only been between September and February, the several times we went. And, I think a lot of people, go ahead.
That's a better time to be there.
Yes. I think a lot of people have these ideas, right? My entire life will be better if I can just move to Miami, or even my entire life will be better if I just move. Sometimes I say the grass looks greener on the other side because it's AstroTurf.
Yeah.
It's fake. But,
Yep.
I think that, and I've seen you and your wife both work as a team and work hard. And what I love is that you both have fit so well into the Colorado community. Like you guys have always been here. Like I said before the show, I was like, Flip, I don't get to see that often, but when I do, it's like I hadn't not seen you for the last several months. It's like, hey, bro. And it's just like this family thing. And I think it's awesome. I think that's one thing Colorado Springs offers a lot of people. And we have a lot of, we've got listeners and viewers, for the podcast from all over the world. And I think a lot of people are going, I got to check out Colorado Springs right now. But, I want to hang on one point for a second. And that's, you mentioned that you were creating a space in the community of value, of trust, right? Of honor in the community. And if they trust me with these things, well, then they're going to trust me with these things. And I love that because if we were to look at business like a marriage, like a relationship, right? I think a lot of us would do much better. And when we go into business with somebody, I see this a lot. I've done this a lot. Someone goes to a networking group. They go to a networking group. What's my goal? Oh, I'm going to book five one-on-ones, right? One-on-one appointments at a networking thing. And that, or they're trying to sell their good or service at networking. Bad. Okay, so this is like this. This is our first date. It's so nice to meet you. Have you thought of names for our children yet? like, I'm sorry, what? I think this is why a lot of businesses fail, is because we're trying to do marital stuff on the first date. But I love that what you did was you built value for you and your wife in the community, and you showed the community that you are invested in the interests of the community. And then what you do is you come in and you offer valuable services like jujitsu. I can't think of anybody who really doesn't need jujitsu. If you think about it,
No.
I
Mm-mm.
mean, I've seen your garage. It is a whole, yeah, it's a setup
Mhm.
in a good way, not a setup
Yeah.
in a bad way. You
It's
know,
set up to speak to one's soul.
it's a whole gym. Sorry.
It's set up to speak to people's souls.
I love
Which
that.
is why with my jujitsu, it's all built around a quote. I tell people, if this quote resonates with you, then you belong in this gym with me. And that quote is, self-defense is not just a set of techniques, it's a state of mind that begins with the belief that you are worth defending.
Wow. Now let me ask you: have you? I guess it's kind of an obvious question, but it's going to be good. Have you come across people in your sessions where you're training people where they have truly not felt that they are worth defending?
I've definitely come across that. I've also come across, and not even too long ago, somebody mentioned to me that if somebody else does not validate their worth, they don't know what they're worth.
Wow.
Yeah. And immediately I was like, well, come to jujitsu and learn how to be your worth for yourself. And
But
instead of putting that responsibility onto other people.
I got to commend whoever said that though, because
Yes.
I honestly think there's a lot more of us that think that. And here's the thing, like we know that's wrong. We know it's wrong, but we still
Mhm.
do it,
Mhm.
right? We know it's wrong, but we still do it. But for someone to actually be willing to say it, number one, to be able to understand that about themselves, to verbalize it, to trust you enough to say it to you. I mean, gosh, that is huge in itself. But we, of course, are in a society where our validation is taught to be fed from the outside. Well, if you don't have a letter A on the top of your piece of paper when it's handed back to you, you are not a smart kid, right? And if you don't have this many A's, you're not as smart as your older brother or your older sister. Um, if you don't have this title at your job, well, you're the rookie and you're easily expendable, right? And so we're taught to follow these different rewards, and some can be healthy, right? I mean, everyone's got to start at a white belt per se, and different things. But social media and these different avenues, I mean, how do you combat the mental side, the emotional side of physical training?
Well, we live next to a beautiful mountain that I like to call Tava, because Mr. Pike never even made it to the top.
Really?
No, never made it to the top. So
No idea.
I'll go with Tava, which means sun mountain, because that's the first thing the sun hits in the morning.
Oh,
It's
that's
the top of
beautiful.
that mountain. And that makes more sense to me.
We'll,
But
we'll call the city. We'll have it changed by tomorrow. Don't worry.
so that's a beautiful mountain. Mount Everest is two of those, right? So
Really?
stack Mount Everest and stack Pike Peak or Tava on top of each other, and the amount of evidence that conclusively proves that physical activity is good for you mentally, physically, and emotionally is higher than that. So when people come to me and they have all these mental and emotional issues, the first thing I tell them they need to do is you need to begin a movement practice that has purpose behind it. Because not doing it is what makes people unstable. And I had a friend actually that when he met me, he's like, Flip, bro, you're one of the craziest people I know. And then I want to say about a year and a half later, he's like, Flip, remember when I told you you were one of the craziest people I know? He's like, I was wrong. You are actually the most sane person I know, because you actually put the knowledge to the test and you work it. So you know how they say knowledge is power? I don't agree with that at all. Applied knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And if you don't apply what is conclusively proven, what are you doing?
Just ideas, I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, my house has a lot of electrical power, but if I don't plug anything into an outlet, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
It's knowledge.
Yeah. So if we know that exercise is, again, conclusively proven that it is good for us physically, mentally, and emotionally, we still choose not to do it. Are we pulling the biggest lever that we can to optimize our mental, emotional, and physical wellness?
Mm, wow, that's powerful. And how did you like? Was there a tipping point in your life that got you to this understanding? Like, was there, uh, or did you wake up one day and just say, "Aha, I get it"?
Well, I'm eternally curious. But
Eternally
after I
curious.
got divorced from my first wife, living in Miami, what is it that people do? It's like, okay, I'm divorced. I'm single again. Let me go back to the gym so that I can work on those vanity muscles, chest, abs, biceps, triceps, all the things that you think people in Miami want to look at,
Sure.
right? And what ended up happening when I did that is that I ended up injuring my shoulders.
Really?
And I did not know why. I did not understand why. And when I went to the doctor, all they wanted to do was give me cortisone shots in my shoulders. And I did get 2 cortisone shots, one in each shoulder.
Mhm.
And the doctor told me, hey, if you come back, we're going to have to open you up and see what's going on in there. And that's when I decided to take a step back and be like, I've never had a shoulder problem in my life till now. So
Yeah.
obviously, it must be something I'm doing that is creating this. And the thing that had changed the most is I started working out like a mad person, trying
Yeah.
to grow the vanity muscles.
The
So
vanity.
then I started to do what everybody does. I went to Dr. Google, typed in how to fix a shoulder without surgery. Now, the issue with Dr. Google is that when you go and you get diagnosed by Dr. Google and you start to look into a part of the world that you don't know anything about, in the beginning, there's a lot of words you don't understand, and there's just a lot of information.
Yeah.
There's good information, there's bad information, there's misinformation, and you don't know the difference yet.
Yeah.
But I kept coming back and kept trying to learn and learn and learn and learn until eventually, like they say, if you keep trying to learn, eventually you have those wonderful aha moments.
Yeah.
And the aha moment came for me when I came across an article by a coach named Michael Boyle. And that article was named The Joint by Joint Approach to Training. And the main idea of that article was, if you want to have a durable body, you do not train for muscle size, you train for joint integrity.
Interesting.
And that completely shifted what I was doing. And probably a year after I read that article, I was able to move my shoulders again with no pain. And after that, the light bulb turned on and was like, huh, if I can do that with this joint, how about if I learn about every joint? And then
Yeah.
it just drove me. It took control of me. The curiosity of how to, bring a body back into balance.
That's awesome. We're almost out of time here. We got about another minute, but I would say, man, if you could come back on another show and share what you learned about joint integrity, I think that would be transformative. I know for me, I've been going back to the gym this week. I haven't made it all week because I've been stuck quarantined at home with acute bronchitis, but I have been back, and I first thing I did was try to pick up my old high school routine. So right,
Mm.
so I'm jumping on the treadmill, I'm sprinting, and then I go to these certain weights and I do treadmill and I'm sprinting, and I usually always finished up with the pool. And the pool is always my cool down. I've still got the cardio going, but it's a lot easier on the joints and everything. And in high school and after high school, I was just way more fit. And they say that when you get into ministry, that you gain 20 pounds. They say that when you get married, you gain 20 pounds. So I am a rabbi, but apparently a rabbi counts as like 6 ministries. I'm not sure what happened. And then I've been married, 11 and a half years. I don't know. Does that stack up? And somebody said, well, the camera adds another 15. I no longer eat cameras. I have no idea the caloric value of cameras. So I'll tell you, man, I've got a lot to learn. I, I've got a lot to learn, and I appreciate guys like you who do all of the hard study, so guys like me can just get the quick Reader's Digest version and apply that knowledge and really be practical about our wisdom in this life. And physical health, man, I've never heard of this joint integrity. Like I I was gonna do a weed joke, but I'm gonna not do that right now. But anyways, there's there's something to say about it. As someone for me who my shoulders are constantly popping out of socket. I mean, this was like a daily thing. And I went to the doctor and they said all of your joints are inflamed. So they're constantly popping out in my neck, in my back, my discs. I got blown discs and they oozed in my spinal cord, and I got my spinal cord is being hit. It's like this domino effect. And I'm like, what am I doing? And my doctor's like, it could be as much as you're sitting wrong while you drive. I'm sorry. Are you telling me I could have irreversible nerve damage in my suboccipital regions now and a blown disc in my lower back because I'm sitting wrong, and I was in a car accident and that really blew things up. But wow, there's so much more to talk about. We're out of time. Flip, man, I really appreciate you. I'm excited to have you on again. The unconditional entrepreneurs that listen to the show are leaders in all different realms. I mean, they're fitness people, they're ministry leaders, they're business leaders, local and abroad. They're moms and dads that were realizing that they are leaders in their homes in a big way. And so the unconditional entrepreneurial philosophy, is to have that holistic approach to life. And I tell people that if you're making more money than you've ever made before, but you're less happy than you've ever been before, and your family's forgetting what you look like, it's not success. So we're restoring the humanity side of success. So, and I appreciate your philosophies and what you bring to the table, Flip. And for everyone listening, thank you guys. Appreciate the likes, the shares. Got a couple more sponsors here. One is the Unshakable program coming up by Peter Lynch. Check it out at sleek.bio/unshakable. It is the Elite Mastermind for men. Peter Lynch is a sales professional bringing back ethics in sales specifically for men, and a great friend of mine. And then we have Garage Fitness by Gordon Bradecki. You can check his programs out at garagefitnessspa.com. It does a lot of the same stuff you do. He's an East Coast guy. So do we consider Miami East Coast? Not really.
That is East Coast.
It is East Coast?
On the coast.
I guess it makes sense. And thank you, everyone. If you guys value this episode, check out the playlist here on YouTube or whatever platform you're listening on, and you will find all the other podcasts with all the other awesome unconditional entrepreneurs that I know. And thanks for the likes, the subs, the follows, and all that good stuff. And until next time, stay unconditional. Thanks, Flip. See you guys.